Take 1000. Yes. So, hello. It's been quite a feat to get this video up and going. A lot of hiccups this morning, which perhaps is because I decided to make this video within an hour of waking up. Maybe I should have had a little more coffee first. So, I thought while I'm having my coffee that's already gone cold because of all the mishaps and unscheduled shenanigans, I would talk a little bit about nudity and how it does not go hand in hand with sexuality, sex, whatever you want to call under that umbrella. So the thing is, unfortunately, for some people, they have a really hard time comprehending or choose not to, that nudity does not equal sex or sexy or sexual. I can be completely nude and have it be absolutely zero to do with sex or trying to be sexy. They're not interchangeable words. They are not interchangeable concepts. One is one thing, one is the other. Can they come together beautifully? Absolutely. Of course, there are obviously times where being nude is about sex or something sexual, trying to be sexy or wanting to feel sexy. But again, they don't go hand in hand. They can be blended when a person chooses to use both simultaneously, but it's like using two different tools, right? A hammer and a screwdriver are not the same thing. They can both work together to build something, but they are two different things, just like these two concepts are. Especially, I think, for women, if you grew up as a girl, as a woman, if you've walked through this life being looked at and treated as female, a lot of us anyway, have seen the example or heard of the example of the person, the woman who is assaulted, and then the first question and the first comments are about what she was wearing and how she was asking for it. Because, some people seem to think that the less clothes you have on, the less respect they need to pay you. For some people, and this is what we're trying to break, right? This stigma, this thought, this paradigm of less clothes, less respect. Less clothes, less worthy of basic human decency. Less clothes, an invitation to do whatever you want. Say whatever you want, stare, touch. We need to break that down. We need to have conversations so that we can be educating ourselves and also educating others, right? And keeping this conversation going. Because there's a lot of people who still, for the photos I've posted of nude photos, and I'm not talking the type you would find in an adult's, fantasy magazine. I'm not, doing provocative poses or anything of the sort. I am just photographing my nude body. And sometimes I like to share that in certain spaces, sometimes including on my very public page. But the thing is, for some people totally get it. But I've had a lot of other people, and especially women, and this is because of societal conditioning, to see another woman being like nude, or you perceive her as being in the mindset or trying to like look sexy and think that's competition. We tend to be, a lot of us have grown up in a society that kind of wants women to butt heads, to be petty towards one another and look at each other as competition. And so when a woman sees another woman naked, especially if she's posting photos online, that can bring up some negative conditioned thinking. And with men, they've been conditioned a lot of times to think that if a woman is showing off her body, it's an invitation for you to stare like she's an object, even when you can see she's uncomfortable, or to do even more physical behavior. Do I think all men think this way, or all women? Or do I think that, gender alone kind of assigns, how you think about it? No, but I think it can't be denied that society has conditioned us to believe certain things, to see certain things a certain way. And some of it is absolutely unacceptable. And, when I speak in gender, I'm speaking in very binary terms, but this includes everybody. And it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, doesn't matter how you identify. It doesn't really matter how you have walked through life so far. This is a human problem. I'm just bringing up specific things that have to do with a binary kind of paradigm of gender, where women have been taught to believe certain things and men have been taught to believe certain things. And again, some of us, for one way or another, have kind of escaped that thinking and been able to critically think for ourselves. But a lot of people do fall under that, and they see a nude person and their first thought is either something sexual or that person is inviting sexual advance or conversation. I like to take boudoir style photos, and sometimes they are naked with a sheet or a pillow or whatever it may be. And sometimes they are with lingerie or more like, or clothes on, basically. And oddly enough, it's oftentimes the pictures where I have clothes on where it's very obvious that it was more of a sexy, look at me, stare at me in that way type of invitation, type of energy. That's the vibe I was going for. I absolutely wanted to be looked at and be looked at like, oh, wow, that's sexy. But that's very obvious because I'm wearing lingerie. I'm posing provocatively. I'm looking at the camera with a very, provocative vibe on my face. It's a lot different than the pictures where I'm simply laying in bed nude with a sheet kind of held to me, just looking out the window and, allowing myself just to breathe into my body and just be with my body, where I'm not thinking about sex. I don't want someone to look at me and think about sex. I'm not posing provocatively. I am not giving you a come look at me type of look. And I definitely do not appreciate when the comments or the energy that comes towards that image is sexual. So, what are your thoughts? Like, I would love to hear. I'm going to seek a little more, but for someone who might just be kind of dropping off at the 10-minute mark, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you have questions? Do you have thoughts on this? Do you have an experience you'd like to share? And of course, feel free to make a post of your own, make a video, write out a text, do whatever you want to do. If there's something you'd like to express that's maybe a little too long to put into the comments, or perhaps you just want to make your own post, as long as it has to do with this subject, absolutely. We would love, I'm sure other people would also love to hear about it. Let's see, what else do I want to say? It's really, really important as well when you see somebody, whether it's on this page, this group, whatever, or in real life, whatever, who is nude or showing a lot of skin, please don't take that as an automatic invitation to inbox them with pictures of yourself, to inbox them and tell them how sexy you think they are. Please just don't do it. It comes off very creepy, very not appreciated by most people. It's okay to ask, can I message you? Would it be okay to send you a photo? But even that, to me, if that's your first thing is right off the bat, to me, that makes it really uncomfortable. So it's just very important that we're aware that when people are nude, they are vulnerable to some point. Some people feel extremely vulnerable, and other people just have that natural sense of course, when you are completely naked, you're slightly more vulnerable than when you have some level of cover up. And that's a beautiful thing, to allow yourself to step into that feeling of vulnerability rather than try to run from it. But when people are in that state, they are to some level vulnerable, and they don't need to feel unsafe or uncomfortable because you're having some kind of an issue separating their nude body from sexual thoughts. That's something if that's happening, that's something you need to like be aware of and hold yourself accountable for. Like, where are these thoughts coming from? Why is this popping up simply because that person happens to be naked in a photo or swimming naked? Again, it's very different. I mean, common sense, a little bit of reading into facial expression and body language, things like that goes a long way. If I'm naked with my, butt up in the air, like bent over a chair, and I'm like looking back, and I'm like, come here with the finger, and I'm like wearing heels, and I'm very like obviously being provocative, that's a different vibe that I'm giving and that I am open to receiving than if I am just simply swimming naked or sitting here. I'm only wearing a robe. If I took this robe off right now, I would not want you to look at me any different than you are right now, because I'm not trying to be provocative. I'm not inviting a sexual energy. I'm simply wanting to be nude. So, the more we can be aware of how we're responding to nudity, and the more we can have these conversations with each other within our circles, the more of a safe space we create for people to go ahead and be nude and share their nudity, whether it's pictures, whether it's going to a nude beach, whatever it may be. Is there anything else I want to say on the subject? I don't think so. I think that's about it. I'm sure as soon as I end this video, I will probably think of 10 more things I wanted to say. But yes, please just stay respectful of people's choice to be nude without being viewed as a sexual object or inviting sexual behavior. My book, I just got the cover design for my book and it's done and I love it, and I'm getting messages right now and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so exciting. But yes, so please, and don't be afraid to speak up for yourself either. If you happen to share something and someone comes at you with an energy that you did not invite and that you don't appreciate, there is a way you can approach someone and let them know. You don't obviously have to be rude or abrasive. You can simply let them know that that doesn't work for you and you'd appreciate it not happening again in the future. And I really think that is it. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation or you would like to ask, feel free. Right after this video ends, I will be starting the next one, which will be posted Tuesday, Wednesday. We're on different time zones, so my Wednesday, which is about how nudity, how getting naked and looking at yourself, touching yourself, can save your life. I'll see you there.